This is the Military Bottom Line Podcast, episode 66.
It's just, I've had other jobs, but nothing fulfills me like the Air Force. Going to work every day, even being gone right now, I cut my orders. I miss so much, going to work every day, being on base, just having that camaraderie, that sense of you're doing the mission and you're having a bigger thing. You have a goal, you're helping the United States. It's just the best feeling in the world.
Welcome to the Military Bottom Line Podcast, where we learn from veterans and those currently serving how to make the most out of a military contract. We're here to motivate, inspire, and help you leverage your service to positively impact you professionally, personally, and financially during your military career and beyond. What's going on, everybody? Thanks again for tuning in to the Military Bottom Line Podcast. This is your host, Jason Birds. And as always, I am so grateful for you guys tuning in. Whether you be new to the show or a returning listener, it means the world to me. And I'm so grateful that you guys are spending your time here today. This week, I've been working on a couple things. I'm trying to be a little bit more consistent with YouTube uploads. And so I just uploaded a video for those that are looking to use their GI Bill for STEM degrees. There's a lot of people that are, striving for those technical STEM, being science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, striving for those degrees to, definitely get a good job after they get out. And so the video I just put out could potentially provide $50,000 of value to those that it applies to. And so if you're interested in using your GI Bill for STEM, definitely go check out the video I put on YouTube the other day. I think it'll serve you well. This week on the show, I have Kirielle. Kirielle's been in the Air National Guard for 5 years now, up in Alaska. And while she is here in Vermont with me today, working on her private pilot's license, as she intends on going from intel in the Air Guard to being a pilot in the Air Guard. She's making all the right moves to move her career in that direction. So stay tuned to hear her story, what she hopes to get out of the military, what she's gotten out of the military already, and kind of the unique nature of being in the Air Guard and in intel up in the Alaska region, because there's a different dynamic there that does not exist with all other states. So stay tuned, and I hope you guys enjoy the show. What's going on, Kirielle? Thanks for joining me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I'm super excited. This is my number 2 in-person interview, so it's always fun. Adds definitely a different dynamic, and makes me nervous all over again.
That's fair. After COVID, I feel like everyone's kind of in that same position.
Yeah. Well, I'm not nervous because of that, but that's okay. It's kind of a small world. I put on my Instagram story the other day that I was looking for a guest because I had a reschedule. And a friend locally said oh, hey, Kirielle goes to the same church as you. She's in town doing some flying stuff. You should here's her screenshot. Go find her at church. I'm like, oh, all right, perfect. So I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah, it was so funny. We were at the baseball game, her and I were, and she was like, hey, have you heard of this podcast? And hey, you should be on it. And then the next morning, she was like, oh, he has an opening.
Wow. Yeah. Small world.
Small world.
Too funny. Yeah. So you haven't even listened yet, and you're already on.
I'm here.
Perfect. A
lot of faith in you.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to hear your story. I know you've been in the Air Guard for 6 years now?
Yeah, I joined in 2016.
2016. It's 5-6 years. Awesome. And kind of want to start from the beginning to hear a little bit about what your upbringing was and why you decided to join the Air Guard in the first place.
Okay, yeah. So big family. No one really military. My grandpa was. One grandpa was in the Air Force. The other one was a Green Beret. One of the very first that ever went into that. And not a huge military family, very much very Christian. Woman needs to stay at home, have babies type of thing. Not really my thing. Yeah. Couldn't really stay at home. So really don't remember 9/11 very much. And a lot of people joined because of that. But every year on the anniversary, my parents would bust out the old VHS player, and they would show us the videotape they had taken of the news footage at that time. And every single year I was like, I want to join the military. Like, I want to be a part of something bigger. And it was just something that every single year it grew bigger and bigger and bigger. Like, absolutely knew, like, I want
Huh.
to join the military. Well, I graduated high school at 17. My parents were still like, no, you're not joining the military. So I went into law and I started like working to get my like law degree. I was working at a law office and I hated it. I was like, I have no like joy in this. I'm not getting anything out of it. It's like, I'm going to join the military. And now I'm old enough. So I got my associates in business to switch all my law stuff to business. And then I joined, and my parents were not happy, but they came around, and yeah, I absolutely love it. Like, it's everything I ever wanted, like so much fulfillment.
Wow. That's really funny. So, I mean, you weren't old enough to recognize 9/11, like when it happened.
Not really, no. Yeah.
But I mean, what did they think they were like, what was their intention of showing you the recording every year? And what kind of impact did they like expect to have if it wasn't joining the military?
I think they just really want us to like remember what happened that day. It was like a big deal. Um, yeah, like we never watched TV growing up, but we had like the bunny ears. So like they stuck it on this old, like
Yeah.
super old box TV. And I remember I was like 3 or 4, like, and everyone was like standing in the kitchen watching TV. And I was like so weirded. I was like, what's TV? Like, we never watched TV.
Yeah.
And then like it made a big impact on my parents.
Mm.
And for whatever reason, they really want us to remember like the gravity of that situation. So every year we would watch it.
Wow.
And I don't think they realized like what a big impact it had
Yeah.
on me. But yeah.
Interesting. Did they say anything along with showing it to you, or did they just like, hey, we're gonna watch these news clips from 2001 and then we're gonna turn it off and go about our merry way?
Yeah, pretty much. Like we would all like I became such a like big thing for us. It was like this annual thing. Like I never even thought anything about it. But yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you joined the Air Guard, and I'm curious, out of all of the options, why the Air Guard?
So I didn't even know the Guard existed. I was going to join the Air Force, and then there was a guy that was in the Air Guard, and he was like, well, you should look into the Guard. Like, I'll take you out. I'll show you the different jobs and everything.
A guy as in a recruiter, or?
No, it was someone that liked me. And
Okay.
so I stayed for him, which is a mistake. But I found the Guard, so that was good. I actually joined avionics first because he was a maintainer. So he showed me maintenance. And I thought that's all that the Air Force was like maintainers. And they said avionics is one of the best ways to become a pilot because you learn about the aircraft and you meet the pilots and stuff like that. So I joined, was avionics for a couple months, but they couldn't send me off to basic very quickly. So I was just going to Guard weekends. Nothing was happening. And I was like, I want to really like do something. So then I was talking to people and they took me over to ops and they showed me what intel was. And I was like, that's the one. Like, I want to do intel. And they took me in. Like, paperwork was so quick. They switched everything over, sent me off to basic and tech school in 2017.
Cool.
Yeah.
So did you like at that point in time have being a pilot in your sights, or you just kind of?
Yeah, so it's kind of funny. When I was 7, my uncle took me up in his like little Cessna that he had, and I was like, wow, people can fly. Like, that's amazing. Like, I absolutely will do that. So it kind of morphed into this thing, like, I want to be in the military and I want to fly. So once I realized I could do both, I was like, well, why wouldn't I try that? So when I joined, I knew I was going to try to be a pilot, but I wanted to be serving while I got my degree, the rest of my degree. So I just joined knowing I was going to get my bachelor's and then try to commission.
Cool. Okay. So did you pretty much, so you switched from avionics to Intel just so that you could get a faster ship date was really the main reason?
Yes, and nothing against maintainers, but it wasn't really my cup of tea, like over there. Like, I'm not just like every other word is a swear word and everyone was like so crass and I just felt so out of place. And I was like, I don't like this. I don't feel comfortable. And ops was just so much more, I guess, my speed. And like everyone was so much more respectful of everyone.
Interesting.
I just liked it a lot better.
Okay. I kind of figured that like the cussing was just kind of across the board in the military. Like, that's just the norm.
Cussing really doesn't bother me that much, but everyone, like, when it's every other word, and I was like, this is like exhausting.
Yeah. They're using the F word as filler words.
Yes.
Yeah. I hear you. Okay. So you went Intel. I mean, Intel's got a pretty lengthy pipeline, does it not?
Yes. So went to basic, and then right after that, they bussed us over to San Angelo. So Goodfellow, spent 6 months there, which was a game changer for me. I was like pretty like quiet, reserved person, but they force you out of your comfort bubble. Like you're briefing all the time. Like if you're not briefing well, they're like gonna yell at you. They're pretending to be like these higher ups because you have to brief like colonels and generals and chiefs. So that 6 months like absolutely changed. I mean, they like started putting me in charge of the classes. So I was like class commander, and then I just worked my butt off there, and then I got DG, so distinguished graduate, and I came back like just a different person. I was so
cool.
So exciting.
Nice. What flying platform does your guard unit have?
We have the KC-135s.
135. Okay, cool. And so you went to Intel school, did all the pipeline. I mean, that took a year total?
Almost, yeah. I was almost gone for a year.
And at the point you came back, you're like, all right, let me now like get back to college stuff.
Yeah, so there's like 156 days, I think, of on-the-job training. So was starting to knock that out first and like get in the rhythm. Like you're in the real military now. Like, what's your job?
Right?
Yep. So ever since I got out, I was been on full-time orders. So first training orders and then alert orders. So like with the whole Russia thing. So like just doing that. So after on-the-job training, I went to American Military University and I kind of felt like I was behind the curve because I had taken that year off. So I did the last 2 of my bachelor's in one. So it's just like work school. Like that's all I did. I just knocked it out.
So when you say you've been on full-time orders the whole time, being up in Alaska, I don't know if we actually said Alaska Guard.
Oh, I don't think so.
I don't know if you're okay with saying Alaska Guard.
Absolutely.
Okay. Is it like the dynamic of being in that part of the country versus another part of the country? It's almost like I don't want to say a constant deployment nature, but you're like in a strategically significant spot.
Yeah.
Did that lend itself to being on full-time orders, or was that just kind of?
Yes. So without getting classified, we are very strategic, and the KC-135s are refueling the like F-16s and stuff. So when the Russian bombers come in and we send the F-16s to go like meet them and like take them out, our KC-135s are the ones refueling. Yeah. So I had those orders that kind of was directed in that mission. So it's constantly rotating, and it was kind of like I was deployed in that location the entire time.
Stays busy.
Yes.
Yeah. So then when you're focusing on, you started going to school full time.
Yeah.
Was it full time?
Yep.
While being a full-time guardsman.
Yeah.
Was that difficult?
Yes, there's a lot that went into it. So first of all, with those orders, I was on call 24/7. So like my phone had to be on. If I was out of the workplace, like they could recall me at any time.
24/7, 365.
Yeah.
Brutal.
So yeah, I mean, I loved it just because I felt like I was such a big part of that mission. Absolutely loved it. Yeah. But yeah, you can't go far. So like, unless you're on leave, your phone has to be on all times. There's a lot of times I call in like 3 a.m. Like just go like all the time. So, and when we're really busy, like sometimes I would just like sleep on the vault floor. Like this is my home right now. Like this is what we're doing. But a lot of times like, they would let me do school at work because I was on call 24/7 and I was still there like every day during normal hours. So a lot of leniency with that. And if I was called in and had to wait for the pilots, I would just sit there and write papers or like do stuff like that. So
there's significant, I mean, while like you're working and you are full time, there's also significant downtime.
Yeah. If something's like not popping off, like there is like hours a day, I could just be putting that towards my bachelor's.
Yeah. Which is awesome. Cause I think, I mean, I know in my experience, like, yes, there are those jobs that like even your downtime, you don't have access to a computer, you know, like you're in the field or you're doing something like we all have tons of downtime in the military. Some just have like more resources during that downtime. Right. So I know like there are still a significant number of people that are downtime, like in an office where they could be doing homework. Yeah. And yet they don't.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like I'm stuck in a vault. So like there's a foot of concrete on all sides. Like we don't have our phones. There's very limited distractions. Like a lot of people don't want to come in the vault because
they want to scroll on their phone or something.
Yeah. Like there's a lot, and they have to have the clearance to come in and the password. So like the vault was a perfect spot for me to just like hunker down and do my work.
Yeah, that's really true. That's a good point. Not be able to have your phone. Yeah. Like that's a huge distraction that's just like gone.
Right. So, yeah.
That's awesome. What did you do for funding for your bachelor's degree? Did your guard unit have specific, programs or benefits enabled to you? Because I know some guard units have just guard state. What am I trying to say? Some National Guards, depending on your state, have like tuition waiver or additional state benefits to pay for education.
I did the post 9/11 GI Bill.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the post 9/11 GI Bill, because I made a video about this. I'm just
Okay.
curious how you did it, because if you're active duty, you don't get the BAH while you're on the GI Bill, right?
Right. So like they were paying for my school and my books. That was it.
Okay.
Like that's it. It ended there.
But you were getting BAH from the Guard basically for being full time?
Yeah, because I was
Okay.
still on order. So I was still getting all the regular stuff with that, but they were
Okay.
just paying for my schooling.
Gotcha. Okay. So you graduated debt free by
Absolutely.
using your GI Bill.
Yep.
Did you use 100% of your GI Bill? Were you able to keep some months?
So funny story. I was actually married at the time. My husband was not using his, and so he just gave it to me.
Oh wow.
So yeah.
So you didn't even use yours?
No, I still have mine, so mine's still good to go.
Sweet.
Yeah. So
yeah. Okay. That's a good way to do it.
yeah.
Awesome. Which that opens a whole different can of questions, because does that affect your 48 months maximum of the GI Bill is technically what each military personnel is able to have?
Yeah. So like he wouldn't be able to use what he gave me, but he wasn't using it anyway. So
you could use somebody else's plus yours and basically get like the full almost 100 months of GI Bill.
I can still use mine. Yeah.
Unreal.
Pretty sure. And if like I probably won't need to, so I'll just like hang on to it, give it to my kids, type of thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
that is pretty sweet. Good
Yeah.
for you. Good for you. So then what'd you study?
So my of course my CCF was intelligence studies, then my associates was business management, and then my bachelor's was leadership and management.
Okay. Was that like strategically planned for what you kind of envisioned for the future, or?
So when I wanted to do law, like I was like, oh, I'll just do law. But then there was very limited things that I could take all of my credits with, but business management was one. And then I wanted to build off that, and I wanted to be an officer. So I was like, well, I want to be a good leader. So just leadership management is what it happened to be.
Nice. Okay. And how long ago did you graduate?
I graduated in the end of 2019.
End of 2019.
Yep.
Okay. So now you're here in Vermont and you're working on your private pilot's license, right?
Yeah.
So like, how does that play into your long-term plan for your military career and like what you're trying to do?
Yeah. So trying to get my private pilot's license, and then I would like to put in all across the different guard units, like all over different types of airframes, and just see who picks me up. And then going from there, I'll be a pilot, of course, do the training and everything. I would love to do 20 years, but I don't know where I'll end up or where I'll be at the moment.
Sure. Okay. I mean, yeah, you're like 25% of the way there at this point, right?
Yeah.
Do you hope to do like full-time for 20 years?
Yes, I would love to do full-time. It's just, I mean, I've had other jobs, but nothing fulfills me like the Air Force. Like going to work every day, like even being gone right now, I cut my orders. I miss so much like going to work every day, being on base, like just having that camaraderie, that sense of like you're doing the mission and you're having like a bigger thing. Like you have a goal, like you're helping like the United States. It's just the best feeling in the world.
That's awesome. That brings up a good point, because I know offline we spoke about it a little bit, that you're full time, but here you are for a couple of months, not drilling, not doing any military stuff, like working on your own personal education. How does that, like the military is just going to let you go for a couple months? Like
so my supervision is incredible. So I had the alert mission for like many, many years. And then right now someone else is running it. And so I cut my orders. We're just like, they let me go for the summer, really. And so because I've been full time, like I'm full up on training, like I'm not missing anything right now. So in November, I'll go back. We're having a big exercise, do the exercise, do my training, and then go from there.
Cool. Okay. So I know, I mean, for those that are involved in the Guard, orders get like super complicated.
Yes.
They got like, there's like state orders, there's federal orders, there's tech, so are you full-time like AGR, Active Guard Reserve? What does AGR stand for? Active Guard Reserve?
Yeah. So I was Title 10 because the alert missions are like special. So like really, like I really belonged to PACAF. So like I was working in my unit, but I belonged somewhere else really. Okay. So that's why it's kind of like almost a deployment status, because you're doing the mission here, but you're part of something so much bigger. So I was Title 10, like active duty as Guard.
Cool. Yeah. So in what you're doing, you're serving, federal interest rather than just state interests.
Yep.
So, which also is sweet, because oftentimes guardsmen struggle to get that 36 months, or like the number of months required to get the GI Bill.
Right.
So it's been kind of like a pretty easy easy effort for you to get the GI Bill.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, that's huge.
Well, even like some Air Force, like they don't think guard is real. When I went to ALS, like Airman Leadership School, and they made me class commander, and so like I was expecting kind of like some pushback against the active duty folks, and they're like, "Oh, but you're like fake guard. Like you've been on active duty this whole time. Like, you're really with us." I'm like, okay, like sure, I'll take that.
Fake guard. That's funny. Normally it's like fake Air Force, but yeah. I mean, there's always gonna be like that kind of flack that you get.
Right. Because there was other guardsmen in the class with me, and they would pick on them. And I was like, guys, I'm the same thing. They're like, but you're not. Like, you've been active duty. Like, kind of, but I'm guard. So it's funny.
That's awesome. What do you feel like your favorite, I mean, you've 5 years, have you, like, how many different programs have you kind of like taken advantage of and like kind of like messed around with through that time? Has it been primarily the GI Bill, or do you have like a favorite program or favorite opportunity that you've been able to take advantage of?
I feel like the GI Bill is like the biggest one for sure that I've utilized. But like there's so many things you can do for college. So, like you can clip out of classes, and they have classes for you. Like there's so many things that the guard will like hand you to help you. And you just have to like reach out and take them. So like you can clip classes, and that way you like not spending all that time in the classroom because you've already gotten the stuff towards your degree. So there's so many things you can do.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Do you think, I mean, after having gone to some active duty classes and schools, do you ever have the desire to go active duty? I mean, what's that?
I have definitely thought about it before, especially like the way they can like go to different bases, because like in the guard, you are stuck in one base until you decide like you're going to leave. But then you have to look for places that have those orders and that have AGR slots. There's so much that goes into it. And I realize active duty is not all sunshine and roses. Like sometimes they used to get sent to Minot Air Force Base, but I just love like some of my friends are like in Germany, then they go to Japan, and like they're all over the place. Like they're getting paid to travel the world and live in different places.
It's great for a period of life, like being young and single and like getting to move every 3 years.
Right.
Is definitely more getting to move rather than like having to move.
Right.
So yeah, there's definitely some perks to active duty. That's for sure. I know that you're like, I don't want to put you in a position to say anything, that will get you in trouble.
Right.
But give us an idea of like what is a day in the life of your position? Like, what do you do?
So let's say the alert mission isn't busy. We are tasked with like making sure the commanders are up to date with everything. So usually like once a week we do a commander's update briefing, and everything that's going on in the world, you would put together a briefing and then like show like this is happening here, like this is what China's doing, this is what Russia's doing. And then before any like pilots fly, if they're going to different countries, you're going to like update them on that country. Like this is what's going on. This is what's off limits. Like this is what you need to know. And then before anyone else goes to any other country, like in the entire wing, we have to brief them, like kind of a secret briefing, like these are the dangers, like this is what we need to look out for, like be careful about this. So there's a lot of briefings, like a lot of research. And you get in, you look through all like the sources, you like start building briefings, and then people are coming into the day like this, like what's going on? Like brief me up on this. And then usually with the alert mission, the pilots will come in every morning to be like, what's going on today? Like, what do we need to know? So a lot of research, a lot of briefing.
Is that, I mean, for somebody that doesn't like doing research or writing papers or making PowerPoints, that sounds pretty horrible. But I mean, does it feel like work to you, or is it?
It depends on the day. Most of the time I would love it. Like I love like knowing what's going on in the world and being able to have a hand and like helping like the commanders know like this is like why this is happening, this is what's happening. And then sometimes they'll have questions like I won't even think about. So like you have to analyze the information and like get back to them with like, this is what's happening. Like, this is what you asked about. This is what I think is going to happen. So, and it's constantly changing. It's like, you can come in one day and it's the exact opposite of the last day. So like you're constantly on your toes and you're constantly like with your coworkers, like, what do you think is going to happen here? Like, help me with this. Like
placing bets or something.
Yeah. It's just, I feel like most of the time, unless it's like pretty slow, it's very, to me, it's very interesting.
Yeah. That's cool. I'm always curious for the people that are like, some people are like fired up on their career. Some people are just like, meh. Some
Yeah.
people, so there's all kinds of spectrums of how people feel about their career. And I take it you're pretty excited about your career thus far.
Yeah, so, like, going into Intel, like, a lot of it's classified, so we
Yeah.
go to tech school and you're not sure what to expect. You're like, "Oh, what does this mean?" So then you get there and you're like, "What the heck is happening?" And then, like, you're given all these secrets, you're like, "I can't tell anyone this, like, this is
Give all
so
the
weird,"
secrets.
like
I'd have to kill you if I told you.
yeah, like, it's, like, so different than anything I'd ever experienced. I
Mhm.
love it. I just know, like, no, the worst part is sitting in the vaults, like, all
Yeah.
day, every day. It's
Yeah.
just
No sunshine. No.
yeah,
Yeah.
especially in Alaska, like, in the dead of
Oh,
winter, you get, like, those 3 hours of sunlight, but you come in, it's dark, you sit in a vault all day, you leave and it's dark for months at a time, and
brutal.
it does, like, really get to you.
Yeah.
So, I know I can't do it until, like, forever. It's just
Yeah.
like, flying is, like, the exact opposite. Like, you are up in the sky and you've got that big
Mm.
window and, like, I just, like, know that's what I wanna do, so
That's awesome.
oh.
That is awesome. What has been like what's your least favorite part about the military?
Ooh, least favorite part? Like, they own you, really.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a very independent person, and it's been pretty good for me so far. Like,
Mhm.
it's given me a lot of freedom, but at the same time, like, you are limited to what you can do, and they do have a say on, like, yes, you will do this, no, you won't do that. Like,
Yeah.
you will take, like, so many vaccines a year, like, you will do this, and I'm just like, "Oh my gosh," like, I
Yeah.
can't say no.
Yeah.
There's no saying no.
Yeah. it it's funny how you say it's giving you a lot of freedom, but like you also give up a lot of freedom. And so it kind of just it's like you know, you got to find that level ground where it's like, is the freedom I'm getting from joining better than the freedom I'm giving up?
Yeah.
Um and that changes throughout life for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Like for me, it's like right now the freedom is so nice. Like if I'm working, like I
Mhm.
love to work out. And you really in the military, you get paid to work out.
Oh
It's
my
like
gosh, yeah.
I absolutely love that. And you
Yeah.
get 2.5 days of leave a month. And so I didn't take
Yeah.
it very often. Like I got paid to go to Australia for like 2 weeks and like do a road trip. I was just like all over the place. Like,
Nice.
you get paid to travel really if you do like smart things with your leave and not just like take it. So it does give you freedom. Like it does give you a lot of good things.
Yeah. You're also very well placed for space A opportunities. Have you ever used that?
I have not, but I am
Mm.
very well placed. Like with my job, I usually didn't take a lot of leave just because I liked being there for the mission.
Yeah.
So I have like 60 days saved up. So I
Nice.
didn't
Nice.
take a lot, but
Yeah. I used my terminal leave to do space A.
nice.
It was like, dude, it was sweet.
Yeah.
Like you got, I had 2 months and I just basically went from Air Force Base to Air Force Base. Like what flights you guys got going out? And
Wow,
it
that's
was
sweet.
incredible. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was definitely a couple days where I got stuck, like
Yep.
the flight got
Yeah.
canceled and like pushed, and I spent a couple days at Travis, like twiddling my thumbs. But like, yeah, it was great.
Yeah. I would love to use that someday.
Would highly recommend it. I guess you've already kind of like touched on like what you love about the military, but is there like if you were to put one thing as like your favorite part about the military, what would it be?
I would say the experiences. Like
Mm.
you get paid to learn, you get paid to travel, like you get paid to like do something like for me like that I love and you get paid to like for me I love the people like I've met people in basic that I still talk to, people in tech school I still talk to, like the people like in the vault, like you become so close and like the camaraderie and everything. It's just there's so many experiences like that I would never have ever gotten if I hadn't joined.
Yeah, yeah, that's definitely true. I mean, yeah, I feel like every college experience is kind of like the same. But
Yeah.
not every military experience is the same.
Right.
So you're
Yeah.
kind of like just taking a shot in the dark when you join, and you don't really, you kind of know what you're signing up for, but also it could be just completely different from what you expected.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it's fortunate that you've had a good run at it so far, because a lot of people, I guess shouldn't say a lot of people, but like it happens where people get negative first experiences,
Oh, absolutely.
and they kind of they don't continue because of like one bad experience.
Right.
Yeah, that's awesome. I switched up my closing questions, and I mean, I can already like guess a couple of these because you've been pretty adamant about your excitement. Based on your experience thus far in 5 years, would you recommend the military?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, like you said, I'm very passionate about the military, but like, it can give you so much, especially like if you join when you're young. Like you have those years of like full employment, and you get the stuff to your GI Bill or college, and you make so many experiences, like meet so many people. You can form like friendships like for life, and that can help you way down the road. Like there's so many good things, like even like medical. Like I wrecked my motorcycle. Like I've been like had a terrible snow machining accident, like a terrible snowboarding accident, and I didn't pay a dime. Like am I doing stupid things in my young years? Like the military's like, well, I gotta like fix you up because you have to come to work tomorrow. Like,
wow, yeah, that's a good point. That's really funny. I assume the Air Force is as strict on their PPE as the Marine Corps is with with motorcycles and stuff.
Oh yeah, I had all my gear on, which is good. And you have to like take a special course to ride on base and everything. So
fun stuff.
Your government property, like they're gonna want to take care of you most of the
time. What do you think? I mean, I'm sure by now you've seen some people that have not been successful in the military. And so I'm curious, like, what you think separates the people that do well and thrive in the military versus those that don't?
I feel like this is such like a cliche answer, but I feel like mindset is such a huge part. Like even in tech school, like people would just like decide like, well, I don't want to do this. Like this is too hard. And they would give up. And you could tell the people who did, because then they got cross-trained or they got kicked out. Like, I feel like in every workspace, like I've been in some toxic workspaces. If you come to work, like deciding like, that's not going to get to me, like and that doesn't work every day, but like you can change like the workplace. Like if you come to work, like you can spread positivity. That sounds stupid, but like you can like change your life. Like if you just don't let the military run you and be like, no, like I will kind of like run my military experience. Like I'm going to work hard. I'm going to come in. I'm going to learn. Like I'm going to use the opportunities that they've given me. Like I feel like that's been the huge difference. You can tell when someone's like decided like this sucks and I'm going to let it suck. Like sometimes you do have to fight back. Like it is your life. Like I realize the military owns you, but like you can change like the direction of your military career by deciding like I am going to make the most of this and I'm going to figure this out.
For sure. Yeah. That's a common one I get. Like attitude. I mean, attitude, no matter what it is you're doing in life, is a huge factor on like how that's going to play out, you know? And so you're not going to make any friends. You're not going to like have a good network of people that are going to support you if you have a bad attitude. And if you're coming to work like, nah, this sucks. I don't want to do this. So I'm just going to like just be a miserable human.
Right. You know? Yeah. I also feel like a huge thing is finding a mentor. Like if you found someone that has already like been through what you've been through, or someone who is like going full forward and like knows what they want. So like there is a pilot who was intel, like exactly where I was. And like someone mentioned, I want to be a pilot. And he came in and he was like, well, like, let's talk about this. Like, what are you doing now? Like, what do you, and he like wrote out everything he had done and gave me this piece of paper. And that's still on my vision board. Like, and we talk all the time, and he like checks in, like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing to work towards it? And having that person that like motivates you can get you so much further than just like relying on yourself. So like finding like that person who is going to push you, and like if you're struggling you can reach out to them, is huge. Like it's a game changer.
Did you say vision board?
Yeah,
that's so funny. It's so cool because I you know, I've heard about them a lot. I've never really done them because it kind of like, I don't know, part of me is it just kind of seems a little bit like lame. but I believe that there's value in it.
Right.
So when did you start that, and like why?
So 2 years ago, I read like this thing, like there's a percentage of if people who write down their goals that they will actually like that will like do something, and seeing them every day. And so I have a massive vision board. It's actually not here with me, but I did pictures of like where I wanted to go, and then I have like that sheet of what I need to do and like my goals for the year. And like I swear it works. Like Australia was going there, like surfing, like all these different things. I did this last year. So like I recreated a whole new board, and like everything that I wanted for this year is like happening right now. So like I absolutely believe they work, and it's just a good reminder like what you're working towards.
Cool. Pictures or words primarily?
It's very much both. I have pictures of aircraft all over it. Then I have like actual goals written out and like the steps to get there. Yeah.
Cool. Good for you. I like it. I guess when I envisioned a vision board, like because like I watched a video on YouTube about it once, and it's like pictures of a Lamborghini and a mansion. I'm like, I don't want this. Why do I need like what?
Okay, no, it is very tailored towards me. Like nothing like that.
That makes more sense. Instead of Lamborghinis, you have jets. Basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, cool. That's like less. obnoxious, you know? 'Cause
Yeah.
it's not like, oh, I want to be so rich I can buy a Lamborghini. It's
I
like,
know what you're talking
this is the
about.
career I want.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes way more sense. um, what is the most influential book you've read?
Oh, I love this one. So I love reading, but I did write some down.
Cool. You got a list.
I do. So one of my favorites is Today Matters by John C. Maxwell. And then there's two others, 12 Rules for Life and Beyond Order, both by Jordan B. Peterson, which my mentor gave me. So
cool.
Like, yeah, mentor is a huge thing. Like he sends me books and he's like, read this, do that. Like, where are you at financially? Like, this is what you need to do. Like, he's really good at stock markets. Like, just like someone who can push you in every way you need to be pushed. Like, mentor is huge. So like, yeah.
Awesome. My wife just read the 12 Rules for Life and told me I have to read it.
Yes.
So we just bought it.
It's amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome. I've also grown to like Jordan's podcast. And so he's just like a wicked smart dude.
Yeah.
And like the way he thinks and the way his guests think, I'm like, all right, it's like challenging.
Well, after you read that one, Beyond Order is like
Beyond Order,
the next one for that series.
Okay. Awesome. My list of books is like ever increasing.
Mine too. Yeah.
And it's been like, this year's goal has to become a reader.
Okay.
And so I just read Atomic Habits. So that's why I say become a reader rather than like, just to read books. It's like to be a reader.
Okay. So I read Atomic Habits 3 weeks ago and I absolutely loved it so
Great
much.
book.
Yeah.
Yeah. I expected it to be kind of like, oh, this is why you should have habits.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I know why I should have habits.
Right.
Or like break bad habits and have good habits.
Right.
But it was far more like detailed and like how to make good habits and break bad habits. So would also definitely recommend that one.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. We're on the same page with our readings.
For sure. Yeah.
What do you have a favorite military discount?
So I try to think about this really hard, but I can't remember the last time I used a military discount.
Really?
So yeah.
Which is interesting considering you have a frugal nature to you.
Yeah, I guess I never ask people if they have one.
Yeah.
I feel weird being like, oh, flash my CAC, like, do you have a discount for me? So yeah.
It's a little different when you own a home and you're going to Lowe's like, all the time. And you're like, this adds up. Let me get that 10%.
Yeah, I could see that for sure.
And then also I use my like Apple, and it's better when it's online. That way, like you don't have to be obnoxious about like, oh, do you take military ID?
Yeah.
If you know online that they offer it and you can just do it like from the comfort of your home.
Did you say Apple?
Yeah.
I didn't know they had one.
At Apple.
That's good to know.
Significant, especially when you buy like a $2,000 MacBook.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind for your next iPhone. But awesome. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Kirielle. I jacked that up a couple times before this, so I'm glad I got it down. Awesome. Well, any closing like wisdom, advice? Man, well, I look forward to having you on when, knock on wood, you're a full-blown pilot and you've accomplished your goals and your dreams.
Yeah, I'll have more books to say. I'll use some discounts by then. Yeah, I'll have more to say.
Yeah. Pilots are always using discounts. Like,
that's true, yeah.
Cheapest people out there. But yeah, any closing wisdom, advice? Anything you've learned?
Not that like comes to my head. I guess like I already said it, but like it is kind of what you make it. And there are so many opportunities. Like just like start researching, like get in the TSP, like do your research, see what you can do for college, see what classes they have. Just reach out to someone who's already knowledgeable about what's going on. Like find out what you can do.
Definitely. Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, there's just so much opportunity while you're in.
Right.
And like there's opportunity and like benefits after you're out too. But like while you're in is the time to like push and like learn and like take advantage of all of it. So totally agree. I don't know if you like want to do a self plug, if people have questions about the Guard or your pursuit of flying, if you want to do like direct people towards your Instagram or
that's
anything
totally
like
fine.
that?
Yeah.
Where can people find you?
So Instagram, it's just like KIRI_ELLE. So Kirielle.
Perfect.
Yeah. Anyone who wants to reach out, like I'm very passionate about it and I will make time. Like I would absolutely love for people to either join or if they're struggling, like that's a big thing. Like having someone you can talk to or just like relax and lean into, like it can make a huge difference.
Yeah, totally agree. Awesome. I'll make sure it's linked below.
Sweet.
Cool. Thanks so much, Kirielle.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey everybody, thanks so much for tuning in to hear Kirielle's story. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. Clearly, she's amped up on her career and Not everybody that listens to this I know is like super stoked on the military. Maybe they're transitioning out. Most of the time the people that aren't super stoked on the military are transitioning out. And so you guys are here to learn about programs and opportunities and benefits. But, there are people that are stoked on the military, and that's awesome. And I want to encourage those that are stoked on it and are enjoying it to remain so and hold on to that, because there are so many great opportunities. And continuing to have a good attitude towards your military experience, regardless of the nonsense that we have to deal with at times. Just make sure you have a good attitude, and things will be good. So just stay stoked as Kirielle is, and if you've got something that you're striving to accomplish, then work towards that and do it well. But I hope you guys enjoyed that show. Subscribe to the channel, share the podcast, share the episode. I'll see you guys next week. Peace.